Well, hello everyone. Welcome to today's episode. I am excited to introduce you to a very special guest who has an amazing proprietary process that God has given her that is what she says the keys to unlocking health in the last days. And so I want to introduce you to my friend, Dr. Katie Carollo. Hi,
Hi, everyone. Hey, Lisa.
Katie. So good to see you again. You and I met a few years back in another organization that we were part of and have just stayed connected. And I just love who you are and what you do and how God is just using you in the world. Let me just formally introduce Dr. Katie to you. So you know a little bit about her, and then we're going to dive in. Dr. Katie is a wife, a mother. She is a naturopathic doctor. She is an entrepreneur, an author. She earned her undergraduate degree in biology from North Georgia University and her master's in nutritional science from Georgia State. After graduate school, she focused on raising her two children, and as a desire to learn more about her own health issues and help others, she furthered her education by studying naturopathic health, where she learned to understand the root cause of disease. And there she earned her naturopathic doctor degree after 3 years of intensive studies and 3 years of book writing. Lots of experience in there. So Katie has cured her own digestive issues, including SIBO and constipation, hemorrhoids, acne, menstrual cramps, food sensitivities, fatigue, low mood through nutrition, natural supplements, and other holistic techniques. She's been teaching others how to live a healthier lifestyle for over 15 years. And as a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife and homeschool mom of two children, she also lives a lifestyle of health and wellness in her physical, emotional, and spiritual life. And Katie has developed a process and has written a book called The Hope Diet, which I am so excited to dive in about today.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome. So you're a Georgia girl.
Georgia, it's real hot down here in the summer. It's about 95 degrees. So,
Wow. So every now and then I hear the little accent coming out, but
yeah,
it's not as strong. But
it's there.
so Katie, how tell us a little bit about how, I mean, in your intro there, we talked about how you delved into this because of your own health issues. But tell us a little bit about what the Hope Diet is and how you came to discover this.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa. So, the Hope Diet is really living with hope in every area of your life. So, God gave me 7 hope keys, and those are my 7 chapters.
Mm,
And it's basically setting you free from misinformation, from different belief systems, and really giving you hope that you can heal your body, that there is hope for every disease, every issue, and every setback. So that's
mm.
what it encompasses.
Wow. And so how long was this process for you to overcome the challenges that you had?
So a long process. So when you get the book, it's awesome because it's like you get to see really 10 years of living and studying and what God took me through. So it really started with, we were a regular family, and my kids, we all had food sensitivities, and we took the test just like
Mhm,
so many of your listeners. They take the test, they're told you can't eat gluten, you can't, like, it's like a list.
mhm.
And you go through that and you start eating almond flour, coconut flour, all these alternatives. And honestly, we started getting rashes from the weird alternative flours and
Mhm.
major burnout. Years
Wow.
and years and years of eating like that burns you out pretty fast. So I had gone to so many naturopaths, so many functional doctors, and I decided I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to figure out what these supplements are doing, what they're giving me, why they're giving me these supplements,
Mhm.
heal myself and heal my family. So through that process of going back to school, that's when I discovered the method to healing food sensitivities.
Mm.
That's part of the book. And that's probably like one of the most exciting parts of the book is the process that there was a doctor back in the 1950s healing people's food sensitivities. He's no longer alive. And when I discovered that, it was like light bulbs going off.
Wow.
So I applied the method to myself and my family. We all healed. My mom healed. It was like domino. So now I'm trying to share that with the world.
Wow. Wow. So a few things stuck out to me as you were talking about burnout.
Yeah.
Tell me a little more about that. How that causes burnout.
I think when I remember when I first got the test and it was like, you can't eat gluten anymore. I literally felt like I went through a grieving process
Mm,
because you're going down the grocery store aisles and it's you can't have this, you can't have that, and you're looking, you're trying to figure out what you can have, and then you start eating these gluten-free products, and now they seem a little bit better than they were,
mhm.
but they don't taste the same, everybody. I'm telling you, they don't taste as good as wheat. And you can argue on some of those points, but I think the burnout is here we always have to eat rice products, and then it's the
Mm,
cauliflower products and the almond flour and the coconut flour over and over and over again. And you find like maybe the one or two products that you really like, and you're just kind of stuck on that. So and when you have kids and you have to get a lot of calories into growing kids,
yes.
they need a lot of different variety and good healthy food. And a lot of the gluten-free products, they are made with processed food, highly, highly processed food, which is not so good for you. So
Wow.
that's where the burnout came.
Wow, that I've never heard those 2 connected before, so that's an interesting concept. Yeah, and I can see that. I can see that. And you and I shared this with you, a while ago when I first heard about your Hope diet, about how years ago in my 20s, I had developed some sensitivities as well, and I had a friend who referred me to a doctor who was a GP as well as a ND, both a
Nice.
naturopathic doctor and a GP. And his whole philosophy was the same, is that, you don't have to, this is not your death sentence. This is not your life sentence, in terms of having to do this. And he actually worked with me so that I didn't have those sensitivities anymore. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's freeing, right? It's pretty
Oh
freeing.
my goodness, it is extremely freeing, and
Yeah.
I'm just so thankful for that. So I'm curious if now that I know that you
Yeah.
read somewhere about this other doctor, I'm curious if that's where he was getting his information from as well.
I'm curious about
Well,
that too. Yeah.
what was the doctor's name?
So his name is Dr. Donald Lepore.
Mm,
He wrote a book called The Ultimate Healing System, and that was one of our books that we used in our naturopathic degree study.
mm,
When I read his book, it was just unbelievable. So I created an entire method around his book, but I organized it to make it super, super simple. And also added in all my knowledge of healing foods. So I'm kind of taking like what I know about healing foods, adding it into his process and creating my own process.
that is brilliant. That is so good. So tell us a little bit about the 7 keys to unlock
Sure.
healing. Tell us a little bit about some of those
Yeah,
keys.
sure. So the first key is water. And, that's kind of like, oh, water. Yeah, we know we need to drink water. But we dive deeper into what I like to call healing liquids. And so we go through the healing liquids, which are going to be, your herbal teas, your cold pressed juices, and just really defining this hydration, positive hydration versus some things just aren't so healing. High caffeine drinks, alcoholic beverages, those are not going to be as healing. So we dive into that. I love this part in the book that Dr. Emoto, he discovered that water actually has memory.
Mm,
So God made water like that. So when you put a label on water, it actually changes its shape and
mhm.
structure. And so when we think about things and
Yes.
we're 70% water, when we think about people, and we're literally putting that structure onto others. So I talk about that, and that's just in the water chapter. So
Yeah.
that's how we start off. Then I talk about healing foods, and then I talk about healing food sensitivities, and we talk about how dealing with stress. How do you deal with stress? That's a key.
Mm.
Supplements. Movement matters. It matters that you are moving every
Mhm.
single day. We cannot be stagnant. And the last chapter is on the soul and spirit needs.
Mm.
And so I talk about my story and how I discovered that your soul actually has needs, your spirit actually has needs, and God created us
Mm.
that way. And there's a lot of people going around with a lot of bitterness and anger and parts of their spirit that are not healed, and that's
Mm.
affecting their physical body. So we have to look at that piece of the puzzle in order to really make our healing a lot faster and a lot more whole.
Mm.
So that was
Yeah.
like a super fast overview.
That was a super fast overview. And most of those things are pretty common
Yeah,
things, right? But
yeah,
I'm sure it's the way that as you unpack that, like for example, when you talked about process the things that are in processed foods or processed foods are some of the things that are made that we go to. I'm sure you have a lot more unpacking of things that we're not aware of. But the last one you just said is not a common one that
yeah,
is used in diets
yeah,
or used in any kind of health training from if I would say from a secular point of view,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. Because people don't talk about it. A lot of people don't know about inner healing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be what the general term is in the soul and spirit inner healing world.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered it through a lot of pain, going through a big painful process. God showed me that I needed to forgive my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And once I forgave her on a deeper level, it set a lot of things free in my soul and spirit. So
Wow.
sometimes it's hard for us just to even look at
Yeah.
painful, past painful things. But God has a lot of healing in store for us in those parts.
Yeah, that's so incredible, and I know in my own life that's been a huge component as well as of my own health journey is having those seasons of life where I was able to God was just revealing things that needed to be healed or restored or delivered, some things that would there. It's interesting. I'm just going to put this out there because it's coming to my mind, but it has nothing to do with the Hope Diet. But along the lines of the spirit and soul, I remember. So I was as a teenager became anorexic,
Mm,
and I shortly after that I actually became a Christian. I had come to a saving faith by reading the Bible, and I remember then in my 20s as I was in university. And if you know anything about anorexia, a lot of times you lose your menstrual cycle, right?
yep.
And so even though I had gone through a lot of healing and was no longer anorexic in that regard, I still hadn't my periods hadn't returned.
Mm,
And in my 20s, I was really concerned about that. And I'm like, wow, what's going on? And my doctor, of course, just wanted to put me on pills to do to bring them back and stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. And so I was talking with a friend of mine who she's a very godly woman and was an intercessor. And I was sharing this with her, and she just began to pray. And so she led me in a place of forgiveness as well. That was a deeper place that I hadn't gone before towards my father. And I tell you, it was like within that week, it started, and it
wow.
was like clockwork every month after that.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that component is so powerful
Yes.
to our health and our body, and so I'm excited that you have that in there. It's such a powerful component. So, Katie, is there any story that you would like to share? Maybe give us some examples of some people who have gone through the
Yeah.
Hope Diet. Yeah.
Yes, I had one lady, she emailed me recently and she has lupus. And she emailed me and she said, I read your book, I implemented just a few of the things, and I went back to my doctor and my numbers are cut in half.
Wow.
Her inflammation is down and she's so hopeful. I've had so many people message me saying, I just started reading your book and I just feel hopeful. And I'm like, I literally pray over the people that are holding my book that they would receive this hope. Because it's really like, I'm just like the messenger. This is God's hope. It's his keys.
Yeah.
And so people, I had a chiropractor up in Tennessee and she read it and she's already seeing a naturopath, spirit filled. And she's just like, but this filled in all the missing pieces
Mm.
of all these things, I didn't really know. And she ordered a bunch of books and she's just giving them out. So like a lot of things are happening and people
Yeah.
are writing me and it's so cool to see how God is working through that book.
I'm so excited to see that. I'm so glad. It is a powerful concept, and I can't wait to get my copy. But I know that you also have a free gift that you want to give our listeners today.
Yes. Well, we give the book away for free. Now, we do ask you to pay shipping and handling, which
Mhm.
is $15.95. So that literally barely covers, it's the tip of the handling iceberg. So a lot of people say, why are you charging? But you're saying it's free. Trust
Yeah.
me. Trust
Yes.
me. For
Yes.
15, I've had people say, I would have paid so much more for this book. When you get it, when you read it, and all the things it's going to do for you,
Yeah.
it's a great deal.
Awesome. So go to thehopedietbook.com/free
Yep.
to get that copy. And I know that you will not be disappointed for sure. Katie, any final thoughts that you want to leave with our listeners if people are kind of wondering if this is the book for them? What are some of the key indicators that for people to say, you know what, this might be the answer for you?
Yes. So if you have a diagnosis, if you have autoimmune, if you have been told you have food sensitivities, if you are feeling hopeless about your health in any way, shape, or form, this book is for you.
Mm.
And I just want to tell you, like, God designed your body to heal. And when you give it the right things, and I talk about the right things in the book, and you take away the negative things, and I tell you what to take away, you will heal. And I'm excited for all your listeners to get free and to receive more healing in their body.
So good. Thank you so much, Katie. For those who are listening, thank you so much for listening. And you want to go to thehopedietbook.com/free and pick up your copy. And even if you know someone in your world that needs this, what a great gift to give to them if they are struggling, feeling hopeless in this. And what a great gift. So thank you so much, Katie. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye, everyone. You're welcome.